Welcome to MWEB's Entrepreneur Zone. Today I've got Gideon with me from Just Play. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your business.
We started a business about 4 years ago. We actually bought the business. We've always been in lead gen and online marketing, and there was an opportunity a few years ago to buy this business, and we did. What Just Play basically is, it's the online competition website of South Africa, the biggest online competition website of South Africa, and essentially what we do is we give stuff away for free. It's as simple as that. We attract users into our site through various online avenues to win prizes like vehicles, cash, gadgets, trips around the world, Vespa scooters. And in terms of how we monetize the site is we allow our advertisers to engage with these users. There's about 755,000 of these users that we allow them to talk to, get research, show their offers, and a whole host of other things.
The online marketing area it's competitive, and there's some big competitors out there, Google and the likes. How do you position yourself in the niche?
Well, what we do is we have this big engagement portal. So whereas those mediums, which are obviously good for any online strategy, focus on specific mechanisms like cost per click or cost per 1,000 impressions, what we do, and we've positioned ourselves in a cost per lead model. We allow our users to, or should I say our advertisers, to target our users, and only the users that are interested in their product or actually want to go through to their website or a specific piece of research, we only charge them on that actual objective achieved.
Is there a correlation between the prize that you're offering and the research that you may be conducting or the particular brand that you're promoting?
It's a great question. The answer is no. So every person appeals, every prize appeals to every person in a different way. Guys like you and me might want to win the Golf 7 next week. Other guys just want to win a 10,000 Rand voucher. Some women like the Louis Vuitton handbag offer. But that has nothing to do with the questionnaire that gets served to them. So irrelevant of the prize that you want to enter for free, we show a questionnaire that is based on your profile. When you sign up to Just Play, we understand where you live, how old you are, your gender, and naturally allow the advertiser to target these clients in that way, as opposed to which prize they're going after.
With you having to pay up front for the prizes, cash flow and cash management must be a big part of your business.
It is, but because the prizes are on for a certain amount of time, in terms of duration on the site, it allows us to amortize certain big prizes over longer periods.
In terms of you attracting users to the site, you've grown rapidly in the 3 years that you've owned the business. What have you put that growth down to?
Aggressive online marketing, and that's in all shapes and forms of online marketing. Display, Google, social media, affiliates, so pretty much a whole host of all the kind of mechanisms that exist currently. We use them all, and obviously we track all of them and measure which ones give us the best kind of users versus the guys that are not as good.
Social media has been the buzzword for a long time, and I think what a lot of brands have struggled to do is to identify how they can actually monetize social media.
Yes.
Have you found it a good channel for you guys?
It's so. It's in terms of getting users from a Facebook environment onto Just Play. The users typically are an average earning user, but it works differently for every brand. Financial services, it's a lot more complicated, but for FMCGs and other kind of retailers, it might be easier. So it really depends on what offer you're trying to monetize.
With a big drive to get users,
yes.
I presume there's also a big drive to keep those users and get them entering multiple competitions?
Oh, absolutely. There's no point for us to accrue all that cost to get the user and kind of let them lose interest, and that's part of the strategy. Giving away prizes at least one every single week, big prizes 3-4 times a year, and it's a constant engagement. We email our whole base 2-3 times a month. We try to find advertisers who also like to give the vouchers to our users. So it's not all the time about how we commercialize it. We really want to give our users kind of first insights into what the specials are, which products, as well as vouchers for various online stores, etc. So that keeps the engagement flowing.
And do you see a distinction between some people that are constant competition enterers and some that just do it ad hoc?
Absolutely, and we're fine with that. So what we've actually done is we've segmented our whole base, so we understand which users are just there for the competition, and that's great. We'd prefer that they just come in onto the competitions and leave, or into the competitions and leave. And the other guys that are interested in, perusing and adopting certain offers from advertisers, they're great for us, because at least we're providing a quality kind of user to our advertisers.
In order to stay on top of your business, it's a lot about the data. How do you manage that? What's your technology behind that?
It's a lot of tech. I don't think this interview lends to go all the way into that. But what I can tell you about the data is it's all CPA compliant. It's all POPI compliant, both of which are massive buzzwords at the moment. And advertisers need to know that the users they're getting have opted in, very, very well into their service.
You're in a partnership. You've got a number of partners in the business. Tell us about how you work together.
Well, we all have our own disciplines. I mean, I'm very much in terms of hunting the deals and kind of the hustling of it. But, our partners, my other partners that are involved in the actual online strategy side of things, and obviously we wouldn't be a business without the finance guys and the rest of the team, all 24 of us, of which the business only runs with all of their input and their effort. And, thank God we have all of them.
As a partnership, as a business, you've grown. What do you put that success down to in terms of your partnership?
Just understanding the diversity of each of the partners. Everyone has a different opinion. There's not necessarily a wrong answer, but there's ways around every single solution. And I think because we're all from different backgrounds, it allows us to really take out what we need out of the situation and adopt it in that specific way.
With your business being a business that takes on risk, you buy prizes, sometimes quite substantial prizes.
Yes.
There must be situations where you're not getting the return on those prizes that you're expecting.
Yes, thank God it's not so often, but it happens, and then we just know after the prize which prizes do and don't work, and naturally we just don't have them again.
So from a data perspective, you can get quite analytical about what will work and what won't work?
Absolutely. This business is all about analysis and measurability, both for us and our advertisers, but in order to understand that data properly allows us to monetize more effectively.
In terms of the proposition that you offer to advertisers and your clients, it's slightly different to what other media companies or lead generation companies would be offering. How have you been able to change the mindset of the market?
It's very difficult because a lot of advertisers are still in this old kind of thinking about, where are our adverts being seen, which websites are we on. But in terms of us and our performance-based kind of marketing offering, it's a bit of education. But as I'll tell you that we tell our advertisers, it's all about a balanced strategy. Yes, the awareness is very important in terms of getting your word out there, but advertisers need to start thinking about what measurability are we getting out of this campaign? How many inquiries are coming through? How many insights did we get from that campaign? And that's obviously an educational process, but it's working.
Part of what's driving the engagement is the fact that we're connected all the time, mobile devices.
Yes.
Is mobile a big part of your strategy?
Absolutely. To date, it still only makes up for about 30% of our activity, but that's because it's not our site hasn't been designed responsively, which it is going to be launching in Jan with a completely new overhaul of the site, both aesthetically and the tech, and that's going to allow us to facilitate the adoption of Just Play through every handset, etc.
In terms of the demographic that you currently target and the long-term opportunity, can you take us through that?
Currently, our LSMs are sitting at about 8 to 10. That's both from our research and independent research. I think a lot of that is weighted to the fact that these guys have online access. But in terms of growing the business, obviously that's a large part of the business. But obviously let's call it the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid, which is a lower LSM user, and that's really where the kind of big economies of scale come into. Obviously our mobile offering and different kind of prizes are all going to help us facilitate growth in that aspect.
Your business model can be transferred to anywhere in the world. Is that something that you look at?
So, obviously we want to solidify our position locally. I think our big goal is to hit 1 million users, but naturally Africa, as cliched as it might sound, we have an offer that pretty much can replicate itself in any region. And it's all about the online adoption of that region. And as you know, the online adoption in Africa has shot through the roof in many of the geographies. And yeah, we want to move in there and capitalize.
As someone that's been successful in the online space, what advice would you give to small businesses and entrepreneurs that are trying to move into that arena?
I think furthering from the point I made earlier, it's just about what measurability are you getting out of it. I think every online medium deserves a try. I think most small businesses and other entrepreneurs would be pleasantly surprised by some of the stuff that online can deliver. But it's just about testing, engaging, seeing the measurability of the campaign, and then either putting more money into it or trying something new. And there's, you know, my other piece of advice was come try Just Play. But if not that, you know, try a bit of Google. It's very easy to do, and there's great kind of professionals out there that handle that kind of stuff, social media, etc.
The growth for you guys has been parallel, almost probably even steeper than the general growth in the market. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it's been significant. Percentage-wise, I can't tell you, but when we took over the business, it was 50,000 users, and we've just hit the 750,000 user mark. We grow it by about 800 new people joining Just Play every day. It's well, maybe it's not so surprising, but 63% of our audience is female. Every one of those people live in South Africa. They're all over 18. The majority of the audience is between 18 and 35, obviously in those cities. In terms of impressions, we're serving about 4 million impressions a month, and it's very exciting. As you said earlier, we've still got a high return visitor rate, so 500,000 people are still playing monthly. So yeah, it's been good.
You've grown phenomenally. What's next for you?
So Africa is obviously a big growing geography, and we want to, you know, capitalize on those markets. Obviously, the online adoption in those cities and those countries are astronomical, and our model is pretty much easy to replicate in all of these regions. We've built the IP and the algorithms around the serving of the questionnaires, so now it's about just having a presence there.
That brings us on to the rapid fire questions. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Get into bed with the right people.
And your best moment as an entrepreneur?
Receiving our stock of our first freely distributed magazine, 10,000 copies.
And your biggest mistake?
Being gullible and inexperienced and losing that same business.
What do you look for in people that you work with?
Good work ethic, honesty, and enthusiasm.
What does an entrepreneur need to succeed?
Perseverance, integrity, innovation, and perseverance.
What inspires you as a business owner?
Just knowing that we have the ability to change things, you know, and grow things.
What would you do differently?
Not much.
What makes South Africa a good place to be a business owner?
The fact that there's still so much opportunity across various industries, and especially in online. It's very, very aggressively growing.
What keeps you awake at night?
Zach, my son.
And what gets you going in the morning?
The ability to just change things, have a great team to work with, and a platform to keep on dynamically growing.
Gideon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you. We look forward to the coming weeks where I'll bring you further South African entrepreneurs. I'm Paul Hobden. Thank you and goodbye.